Hello, guys. Welcome back to the 2Take podcast with April and Shannon, where we talk about topics of interest to us, unless you want to weigh in and want us to talk about something specific from two different points of view. Today's topic is relatively simple, and it is about eye contact, having eye contact, and building connections through that. And one might go, God, you're going to fill a podcast with that? It might be a short podcast, but it definitely needs to be addressed. We have noticed. Eye contact comes actually pretty easy for me. I would say probably April as well. But what I've noticed in some younger workforce is that is not exceptionally easy for them. I'm going to leave it up to my speculation of why. But when I thought about that, why would this not be easy for some people? Not that they have to be young. Some of it could be confidence related. Have they ever been put in a position that they really had to have eye contact to build rapport? Like, were they in a leadership position? Did that make a difference to their role? Or were they in a customer service position or sales position where that rapport build is a huge part of your objective? So maybe not. And then I think about the shifts that we've had in either how we use tech. If we are texting and doing this a lot, this has my undivided attention, but it's not looking up at eyeballs. You might not even think about it, or you might have developed a habit of looking away when things are uncomfortable, and you just aren't even aware that that is something that you're doing. So I just was looking through here going, what is the power of eye contact? Because when someone does not have eye contact with me, my immediate feelings are I disengage, or I may not trust them because they really aren't talking to me. So those are some negative feelings that I have when people can't make eye contact with me. And I looked up, and I didn't know this, but I try and dig some little fun facts in here for you. Apparently, Trix, the cereal with the bunny, Trix are for kids, right? They did an experiment, and I did not read the experiment at large because it's just fascinating. I guess they had experimented with the bunny position, the face of the bunny, the eye contact of the bunny as it related to sales on their boxes. And as expected, was the box that sold the most was when the bunny was making eye contact with the consumer. Okay, well, there is no real bunny. I'm sorry, there's no real bunny. But
way to burst my bubble on a Friday afternoon.
I know. Truth be told, there's no bunny, but it is funny that here, this cardboard box, this cartoon image, just the fact that it had eye contact with you, even imaginative eye contact with you, generated more sales for Trix the cereal. I just thought that was fascinating. I also think about, and again, we won't get all into it, but how many years, how many hours, how many studies have been done around the Mona Lisa's expression and her eye contact and what her eyes say? A ton. And I mean, so people have stared at that particular eye contact or non-eye contact of that infamous painting. So I do find that funny is that we do have a negative reaction when people do not give us eye contact. And what does eye contact give us? You can say, okay, yeah, it builds trust, it builds rapport, it makes a connection. All those things, very important. One thing that came out in my studying of this is it actually enhances empathy. I thought that was interesting. In the workforce, we talk about soft skills, one of being empathetic, being able to understand or try to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to explore a different viewpoint, experiences, emotions, so we can be a good team, we can be a good service provider, we can be understanding to those that are around us. And I think about that going, eye contact enhances that empathy. I think that's pretty cool and a very important skill to have. And so besides eye contact, if we can marry that with understanding what body language also says, those nonverbal cues and eye contact being maybe one of the most important are skills that we should build and be aware of. So if I tell that to you and you're like, okay, great, Shannon, I can get on board with that. How do I do that? Do I not have eye contact? Because I think I do. Number one, ask trusted confidants. Say, hey, when I was in that sales presentation or going into one, could you tell me, did I have good eye contact? I intend to, but would you be cognizant of giving me feedback? You can also fire up Zoom, give a presentation or feedback, read something, and articulate and do recording and then watch yourself back. One of the hardest things is watching yourself back, but make yourself do that because you can count, was it appropriate when I looked away? Did I look away too much? Because if you can look and make eye contact in a digital form, you'll probably be more prone to do it in person because someone's looking back at you. PowerPoint also has a recording feature that you can do that. So does Canva. And then just asking a colleague, when I give this to you, just tell me, do you feel connected? What can I do to make you feel more connected or engaged with the material that I am presenting? So putting that up on a skill set improvement of self-development, eye contact is something that I would suggest everyone should be cognizant of and making sure that they do a comfortable level of that. I'm going to kick it to April for her second point of view on the topic.
And yes. So speaking of Zoom in particular, or honestly, any online meeting format, eye contact is so important that one of the products that has come out over the last couple of years, which I know was hugely sparked by all of us going remote during COVID, is a camera that comes down on your screen and is eye level with you so that you can literally look at the camera. Because when we're on Zooms, where do we look? We look
and
down.
I'm looking at April's eyes right now, which
Yep.
doesn't give me eye contact with you, but I'm listening to her. So
exactly. So, and I'm looking at Shannon right now, which you clearly can tell that I'm not looking at the screen. So what do I do to combat that? Because I did not pay to get one of the thingies that drops out on my screen. That's cool, but expensive. I shift where I myself is on the video screen because I know I'm going to gravitate towards looking at myself to make sure that whatever, my hair is okay, that I don't, whatever the case may be. That's oftentimes on Zoom calls, what we do is we wind up looking at ourselves. So I shift the boxes so that my box is right under the camera. That way I'm still looking at myself. Clearly it's a vanity issue, but I
think it's a mirror issue. This looks and operates like a mirror.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But one of the something else Shannon said that sparked some thoughts with me is when we have employees that come in and oftentimes they're new grads, they haven't given a lot of presentations, they're young, their eye contact for whatever reason is not built up in them. And it might be from being uncomfortable. It might be from being unsure. It might be from simply a subordinate role, feeling like they shouldn't be making eye contact with people. Whatever it is, I will practice with employees and I will tell them ahead of time. And we've talked about this in some other, not about eye contact, but practicing with employees on things for presentations we've talked about in other podcasts. But I will specifically talk to them about eye contact, making sure that you're having eye contact with the person you're presenting to or the people in the room. So you're talking to Mike over here for a few seconds and you're presenting to the whole room, but you're addressing Mike for a few seconds and then you're addressing Shannon for a few seconds. And then you move on to another point and you're addressing Sally for a few seconds. And then you make your way back across the room. Some of my big pet peeves about eye contact hacks are just look over their head. Nobody's going to notice it if you look over their head. Okay, that is a lie, because right now I'm going to look over my head in the video. Shannon, where am I looking right now?
You're
I'm
looking.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm looking right over the top of my head. I'm staring at the wall right over the top of my hair, but I'm not. If I'm addressing a whole room of people and I'm doing this.
You look like you just ate special brownies.
There you go. There you go. So.
Not that I have ever done that. I have not. I want that on record.
I haven't actually, so I wouldn't know. But that's one of my pet peeves. Just don't. It is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable if you've never had to do it before. But like Shannon said, practicing works really well to just get that comfort level down. And I remember I vividly remember the first time I did a in-person presentation. I was terrified. I wanted to just look down at my notes. I did not want to engage with the audience at all. And then I think about the last time Shannon and I did a big group presentation. I went into it feeling like, I thought afterwards, I feel like I should have felt nervous, but I felt no nerves at all. You and I had talked about the subject so much, and I was cool with making eye contact with people at that point. I was cool with having people in the room, whatever, silently judging me. You know, you do you. I'm probably honestly silently judging you. So right back at you. But I think the other thing is, also, don't have creepy eye contact. Like, don't unblinkingly stare into someone's soul. Mm-hmm. Like you're plotting how to, I can't even not blink, but like you're plotting how to, I don't know, get rid of their body. Not sure. I suppose that's an extreme example, but don't feel like you have to stare someone down. But that face-to-face interaction is huge. And you'll notice that also with the way people get over the phone, the way people get over email. We talk about keyboard warriors. People feel a lot freer to say things when they don't have to look at you than when they do have to look you in the eye and be cordial face to face. Mm-hmm. So there is power in it, whether or not you realize it. There is power in having that eye contact with people, and it's an important skill to practice and to run with.
Absolutely. To tie this topic up, I would say that practice, yes. 2 is figuring out where it comes from. Is it insecurity? Is it maybe that you have fear around being asked a question you aren't prepared for? That was a very real thing for me at one point. Is like, what if they ask me something I don't know? Okay, so figure it out. Or tell them you're going to figure it out. Just equipping those, me for those scenarios that could possibly come up took some of those moments of fear off the plate for me, so I could be more comfortable with myself in an environment that could be uncomfortable in and of itself. And some of that was just even some internal dialogue that I had is like, my gosh, what if I sound silly? What if I don't, what if I stammer with my words like I am today? Guess what? Everybody does.
Shannon asked me if I was having a stroke earlier because I completely just spaced out mid-sentence and stopped talking. So
I let her go for a while. I'm like, should I be
are you
concerned?
okay? Do I need to note the time?
Yes. So, if it is a comfort level or an internal dialogue that you have for yourself that is, not benefiting you in those scenarios, knock it off because everyone, is human. You have things to bring to the table. You have things to say, you can articulate them, to the best of your ability in that moment, and that will even improve with practice. So hopefully you will think about the power of eye contact and how that can generate genuine relationships in your world, both personally and in the workforce. We will catch you next week with a new topic from the 2 Takes podcast. Take care.
Bye.